look at this. Corporations are scared of Asmongold. And I think this is fascinating. It's worth talking about. Why is it that they're afraid of Asmongold? I don't think that they're afraid of him personally. Although from the contacts I have at various companies, from Ubisoft, from Blizzard, there are some people that like him and some people that absolutely hate him. There's no in-between. There's no middle ground. And usually the people that like him, they whisper it in hushed tones in various dark corners. The official position is that you must hate this man and everything that he stands for. But the reality isn't that they hate Asmongold. The reality is that they hate the YouTubers. They hate the content creators like Critical Drinker, like Daravark, and all the others. And so we need to delve deeper. Like, why exactly is it that they dislike us? Why is it that they hate us so much? And the answer to this is in the way the gaming industry has evolved. Back in the day, they would have loved us. I mean, back in the day, almost everyone liked Total Biscuit. Almost everyone liked even Angry Joe that was critical to companies. Like, it was normal to like these people because they were gamers, right? And so now, that doesn't happen anymore. So we gotta ask the question. And I think it's, again, going back to the mindset of what game development used to be and what game development is now. You see, in the past, game development was a couple of people, usually a bunch of white guys like you see here, which I understand is very wrong, like the wrongness of this image. But a bunch of white guys that were nerds, who liked video games, they liked Dungeons and Dragons, they liked playing Magic the Gathering, that they would get together and they would be like, hey, let's make a video game. And they would try to make something that they would love playing. It's like they would make a video game for themselves. And they would say, well, because we are part of this geek community, if we make something that we like, more people will buy it. And so it wasn't about like trying to see what works. It's like, what is popular now? MOBA. Okay, we're going to create a MOBA game. What works now? Loot boxes. Okay, we're going to focus on that. No, like what they would do is like, let's create a game that's original and awesome. So like, for instance, Warcraft 3. Like, let's make something original. What can we make that wasn't made before? Well, what if we have like RPG elements in a strategy game? And then they would focus on the story. Like, what if you get to play as the villain? What if you get to play as the monster? And then they would hire based on excellency. Like, can we make the best cinematics? Like, we want to make some game cinematics that have a quality beyond what our competition is capable of performing. And so, those people were focused on creativity. Those people were focused on the gameplay. Those people were focused on making something that they would enjoy. And it resonated. It resonated with people around the world. Like even places like China that are usually very refractive towards Western entertainment, even they celebrated World of Warcraft. And they even created an entire parasitic industry around the game, like the Chinese gold farmers, you know, the Ni Hao, Go Farm Some Gold, like all of that existed. And they tried to emulate that, you know, I remember like so many WoW clones and so many things like where they would just try to steal and copy, and nothing worked, right? Because, again, it lacked the passion. And so, in that mindset, they would love someone like Asmongold. Even if he comes up with criticism. I mean, that's how he started, right? He was talking about World of Warcraft. They liked it because, like, they were gamers as well. And it's like, okay, what do other gamers think? Oh, well, like, they think that the content is too hard. The content is too easy. Well, maybe he has a point, maybe he doesn't. But they would still like the criticism. They would like the fact that the people are invested into the product. And let's go fast forward to today. Like, what is a gaming company? Let's look at something like Ubisoft. Well, a gaming company has nothing to do with passion or hobby anymore. If we look at the AAA, it's usually about people that go to university and they study Unity or they study Unreal. They may or may not understand what is being taught to them because most of it is theory and very little practice. And so they go to a company where they're like hired mercs. They're like hired guns, if you will. I understand the insiders call them prostitutes. And so they just work on a project. They do like their little thing that they have no say in what goes on. They just have like their little table where they do their little thing, crafting little armors or shrinking tits or making man jaws, like whatever it is. And then they move on to another product. And it's kind of like workers on an assembly line. It's not something that has to do with passion or creativity. And so the question becomes, who gets to make the decisions? And the people who make the decisions, they rarely care about the games either. What they do is they hire experts, right? So like they hire marketing people, they hire industry specialists, they hire consultants. And the consultants tell them what the gamer wants. But usually these people are absolutely infested with a cancerous ideology. And so they don't really care about what the gamer wants. They care what the game journal wants. Like they're more focused on how do we get Kotaku to give us a 10 out of 10. Like Kotaku won't give us a 10 out of 10 if gamers like our game. In fact, they may give us a 5 out of 10. But if we convince the game journalists to give us good grades, then what ends up happening is that we may get bonuses. We may get more prestige for our company. Stock goes up. And then maybe the government can give us some loans or some grants. And that's the new mindset, right? So you have these people that are constantly being told, like, look, gamers have evolved. Like the gaming market is progressive. All gamers are left-wing. They don't like male, female, right? Like, do you want to play as a boy or a girl? They hate that shit. That's bigoted. You need to say body type A, body type B. They like pronouns, right? Like, they like representation. A lot of gamers are in wheelchairs. Like, they demand to see people in wheelchairs in our video games. They want to see cellulitis, skin disease. Straight people, they hate themselves. They absolutely despise their sexuality. So we don't want to see any type of boobies, cleavage, nothing like that. It is demeaning. It is pornographic. Like, you need to remove that. You need to make women that are strong, and masculinity is strength. So, like, make women more stoic, more masculine. And so the developers listen to this. They generally think that, okay, well, maybe this is what the industry is like. And then they notice that the game isn't selling. So instead of blaming the consultants, instead of blaming the ideology, they're trying to blame something. So they have to believe that it's Asmongold that's the issue. Like, if it wasn't for Asmongold, then everyone would buy the game. They genuinely believe that the game is perfect. Like, they followed all the charts, they listened to all the consultants, they have experts in marketing that told them how to make the game. Maybe they had a stress group from California that play tested the game, and they gave their opinions on it, and it's like everything is fine, everything is working as intended. So why is it that the product isn't selling? And so the market needs to be blamed, right? And the reality is the product isn't selling, that this is not math. Creating games is art. You cannot just do like, okay, well, I followed the cookbook recipe, and why isn't the dish coming out? I added the correct alchemy formula. Why isn't the tincture doing what it's supposed to do? It's because this is art. Even if you're like trying to copy Dota and you're doing everything, you're having your line of heroes and you're having everything, and it's like almost an identical copy, it would still not sell. Or it may sell, who knows? But like the idea is that you cannot apply the creation of a video game the same way like creating a dish. You add 2 carrots, you add a chicken, and you spin it around. Like you don't do that. You need to have people that have passion, that actually understand what they want to play, and allow them to create. And if you don't do that, right, and you believe that the experts have all the answers and the consultants are the smartest people in the room, when the game isn't selling, you're blaming Asmongold. And this is like moronic behavior. This is like the type of people that have drool coming from their mouth that can say some shit like this. Because you want me to believe that the game like Assassin's Creed Shadows or whatever, right, which has millions of dollars in marketing, it's getting pushed by all of the game journalistic outlets. It's getting ads and it's being placed everywhere. Everyone knows about it. It's trending on Twitter for the wrong reasons, but it's fucking trending, right? Everyone talks about, everyone knows about it. You got like all these trailers and everything, and you have like shills and bots promoting the game, and you're telling me that despite all of this Herculean effort in order to shill something, you got a twat, like you got this twat right here, and he's like, yeah, I think the game is gay. And that's it, like your entire marketing strategy is just demolished, like everything just collapses. And so this explanation is not satisfactory for me. I think it's absolutely retarded. I think that maybe the consultants are wrong. Maybe the people that told to you what gamers want were lying. Maybe the consultants just want to suck your money. Maybe that's it. Maybe they're not interested in your product. Maybe they're interested in creating something that aligns with their ideology, which is left-leaning identity politics. They get to shake their hands and they move on to another company to fuck over. But at the end of the day, you know, the consultants, they're not paid based on a return. They're not paid based on how much the game sells. They don't have a vested financial interest in your company succeeding. All these experts, all these marketing people, they get paid nonetheless. Or at least in their mind, that's what happens. They never view that at some point their company may go bankrupt and they get their ass fired. You know, the bunch of guys that would get together, like these ones, right? They would get together and they would try to create Mafia 2 or whatever. They knew it's like, okay, if the game isn't good, it doesn't sell. If the game doesn't sell, we don't make money. We invested a lot. Like, we need to make sure that it sells. Let's see what the gamers want. Let's see how the market reacts. Who does that nowadays? If you're at a big company, you don't give a shit. And so this is the main issue that they're facing. Blaming Asmongold is wrong. Blaming the consultants, blaming the experts, blaming the game journalists that are lying to these companies, that's the correct answer. Because at the end of the day, I guarantee to you, look, let's take a Gunnar game from Asia that's selling, I don't fucking know, Stellar Blade or Nikkei. Stellar Blade, perfect example, right, Stellar Blade. If you have Asmongold shitting on Stellar Blade 24/7, you already had the gaming press shitting on that game, right? So like the entire game journalist outlets were shitting on Stellar Blade. People on Twitter, it's like, oh no, if you're a decent person, if you're a decent member of the community, you would never look at a girl's ass. Only perverts look at a woman's ass. Fuck is wrong with you? Like, are you not a man? Men never look at women's asses. You know, like, okay, so that was the conversation. Despite all that, the game manages to sell. You can't shit talk a good game. Baldur's Gate 3. It's fucking woke. I admit it's woke. But you know what? It's a good game. If it's a good game, I can decide to dedicate my life to try and shit on that game 24/7. Just non-stop. Nitpicking, criticizing, it will still sell. Because at the end of the day, you know, people like Asmongold and myself, we do not get to puppeteer our audience. We can barely get our audience to click that fucking subscribe button. See, Asmongold hasn't even convinced me yet to do it. Why would I do it? He hasn't convinced me, right? I'm not even clicking this shit. He can't even get me to do that, but you expect me that he can get me to boycott games? You're fucking insane. The only thing that he could possibly do is to show me something of a game that I hate, and it's actually in the game, right? Like, he shows me a scene from a game, and I find it absolutely cringe, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, okay, I'm not going to buy the game. But that's not the fault of Asmongold. That's the fault of the developers for putting that scene in the fucking game to begin with. Alternatively, he can actually show me an amazing scene, and I'll be like, wow, I didn't know about this game. That's so interesting. That's fascinating. And then I can buy the game, right? So the faster companies realize that streamers aren't the enemy. In fact, like, streamers can be your friends. They can actually promote your shit if it's worth promoting. And you realize that the difference between the game journal and the streamer is that the streamer is actually beholden to its audience. That's very important. A game journal is beholden to the advertisers. So the game journal, if they're getting advertisements from Ubisoft, from EA Games, they can't talk shit about those games. Because they're advertising on their platforms. They need the early access, right? A streamer, like, we actually make money from Super Chats. We actually make money from Patreon, from Subscribestar. if we manage to start lying to people and piss them off, it works for 1 game, 2 games, but then people tune out. They unsubscribe. They go to others. We can't afford that. Kotaku doesn't fucking care how many people read their articles. They're still going to make money, right? They still get the ads. And at the end of the day, I also think it's about the shareholders as well. Like, the mentality of the shareholders is that game journals still matter, right? So, like, if you get a negative article in IGN, it can affect your shares. Bullshit. No one cares about IGN. People watch Asmongold. That's why you're afraid of him. Let me know what you guys think, though. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.